All right, Pep Guardiola issues Kalvin Phillips apology. He has gone ahead to issue an apology to him for having not used him enough at the club of Manchester City, and it looks like these two are no more. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. It's the football news show. It's a Saturday, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. It's the 9th of December 2023, and that means we are left with just 22 days to come to the end of the month of November. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're really watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And it's really a very chilly day where I am, and you guys are really great and doing great and supporting this channel to the fullest. And continue to subscribe as we obviously continue to serve you. Ange Postecoglou, a manager that has not gonna hate to win any game in his last 5 games his last 5 games for Tottenham Hotspur, is gonna hate to put out a huge statement onto the so-called injury of Heung-min. And lastly, we are going to discuss something concerning Ronald Araujo coming in from Barcelona, having gone ahead to obviously get an injury in there at the club of Barcelona. So we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslim backlog fikum. Let's see close 100 likes to this video, and let's kickstart it off with Pep Guardiola coming through and really issuing a very huge apology to Kalvin Phillips. He says, "I'm so sorry for Kalvin Phillips. I asked for good personality and also good character, and is a perfect example. It's just because I visualize something. I visualize the team and I struggle a little bit to see him. That's all." So Pep Guardiola has gone ahead to obviously issue an apology to Kalvin Phillips. And trust me, it's what we call unfair treatment for a player, because spending close to £56 million on the player to purchase him from Leeds, and you take him to Manchester City and you don't use him, yet there is space for him to be used, doesn't make sense. This is where I come to understand that Pep Guardiola was like, if I let Kalvin Phillips go to another team like maybe Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, he will hurt me. And he went ahead, obviously used that, and see to it that he beats off the competition and takes the player to Man City. And it shows you that he wasn't in his plans, but he was like, let me try to take him out, and if he goes through into my team, then I'll obviously use him. But before Kalvin Phillips came in through at Manchester City, we all knew his potential. We all knew his potential at Leeds. He went ahead to play very well, and he led England to the final of the Euros, playing the double pivot with Declan Rice. So, and at the time, we saw to it that Kalvin Phillips was a better player than Declan Rice. We all saw it by then, but 2 years later, see what is happening. Declan Rice has gone ahead to really extend his career and importance to the teams where he has been, West Ham and Arsenal respectively, than Kalvin Phillips. Looks like Kalvin Phillips has gone ahead to kill off 2 years of his career. And you might like it all, know what? Kalvin Phillips has shown us the levels of what he can do, Very many teams that are really elite were interested in him. And trust me, if Man City never signed him, would have gone ahead to get a better side to play for, because teams are there that are interested in his services. But Pep Guardiola has gone ahead to obviously come in through and obviously don't play him. And it's very, very, very irritating that he has not gone ahead to obviously give him like a run of games. Even when Gundogan is away, he never thought Kalvin Phillips is the best player to replace Gundogan in that double pivot where he used to play with Rodri. What he did was to go in for Matthias Nunes, and Kovacic. So it looks like it's high time they let him go. And the last time I did a story about Kalvin Phillips, it's like Pep Guardiola came out and really told us that they are willing to release him to go in the summer transfer window of this year. But he had just seen his wife give birth, and Kalvin Phillips asked Man City that, allow my wife to first obviously stabilize after giving birth, then later I'll move out of the city and really find a different team altogether. And I really remember what he said about Manchester United when he went to Manchester City, and everything is not working on well for him, and his career is in tatters. But this comes in through when teams have gone ahead to line up to obviously take Kalvin Phillips, and one of those teams is Juventus. They're 100% interested in signing this guy, and is it even Spurs? So, but the most possible move for him might be a loan to wait him until the until June. Then in the summer transfer window, he'll find a better side to obviously play for. And for Kalvin Phillips, he's a very fantastic player. All he needs is enough playing time and a manager that is obviously going to trust in him, and then later he'll see himself will do the needful. You know, look at Yuri Tielemans and how he's going to have to turn around at the side of Aston Villa. You know, he even reached an extent of even going hard at the manager, Unai Emery, and all the manager needed was for him to obviously get into that starting 11 of Aston Villa and really get to the levels. And when he matched the levels, Tielemans has been pivotal in securing the third place of the Premier League, where the side of Aston Villa is right now. So wait and see how that happens. But an apology has been issued by Pep Guardiola to his player, because it's obviously known that this manager is the reason as to why this player is not going ahead to really play. And he's so much known on improving midfielders, you know. He's so much known on improving midfielders because he's a midfielder. But Kalvin Phillips, with his talent, we don't know what exactly is wrong. The last complaint I had from Pep Guardiola that was negative about Kalvin Phillips was like, Kalvin Phillips is fat. That's what he said. So let's leave it at that, and let's go to Ange Postecoglou, the manager that's going to lose 4 in the last 5 games. He was asked on Song Heung-min's injury. He said, "Nothing new really. The last update I got last night was that he was a bit sore last night after the game. We will have to see today." On team news, he said a couple more knocks in the game. Metasa and Richarlison both reported okay after the game, but we won't get anyone else back, I don't think, before the new year. So Song Heung-min is really having a sore, you know, and it's really a big blow if at all he doesn't show up in the game of Newcastle. They're going to play tomorrow. You need Song Heung-min with you. That is it. You need Song Heung-min with you in your team. If you really want to see magic happen, you need him with you, because he is the only striker that you have that can obviously put the ball at the back of the net. Richarlison, however much he returned, you saw him miss a free header, you know, in the 6 box area, and he headed it off the post of the goal, and he has been struggling. That's why Ange Postecoglou went ahead to switch him onto the left forward and then let Song Heung-min lead the line. So if I told you lose Song Heung-min, it will be a very big blow for Tottenham Hotspur, and with no other players returning like Maddison, you really lack a lot of creativity for him. So we wait and see how that's going to pan out, but it looks very bad for the side of Tottenham Hotspur, guys. Let's all admit, injuries coming through hard, and they really take you to where you don't want to be. And injuries are going to hit to affect Tottenham Hotspur, and maybe wait and see how that really resonates with their game against Newcastle. But even Newcastle is also really having huge injuries. They're having very many players out. So that game might obviously be factored out because of the players that are really present and how they're obviously going to be efficient. For Newcastle, when they create chances, they're efficient in front of goal. But for Tottenham Hotspur, I saw their game of West Ham. They took an early lead like in the 3rd minute, but it took them forever to obviously double the lead. They couldn't double the lead. And if you don't double a lead like that, you leave it open. And West Ham, we are really lucky. The 2 chances they got, they went ahead to obviously utilize them. And when they utilized them, it was over for Tottenham Hotspur, and they had nothing to put up. So, according to what is really happening at Tottenham Hotspur, Ange Postecoglou will need to win this game. Trust me, if he doesn't win this game against Newcastle at home, it's obviously going to raise eyebrows. Or it's going to be a hair scratcher or an eyebrow raiser in that moment, because you just need to obviously win that game, and obviously to it that at least you really win 1 in your previous 6. But if at all he goes winless in the 6 consecutive games, that will really question his capabilities. And people have been talking about most of the players being out injured. But let me tell you, in the game of Tottenham Hotspur, they never had Van der Ven and James Maddison. Who else? The rest of the players were available. Carlson was available. Pameta was available. Yefis Besuma was available. So you cannot tell me that injuries are still the problem. They should find ways of killing off games really early enough. After that, let's go to the Catalonia, or the Catalan side of Barcelona, and really present you this story that has been reported to us by Mundo Deportivo, that Ronald Araujo has a broken jaw, but he refused surgery in order to be with the team in the upcoming matches. He'll play with a mask and is expected to recover within 3 weeks. Rojo, and he really needs to do it, because you just look at how Barcelona is going to be without Araujo. They're obviously going to look bad. With the likes of Gavi injured and very many others, you just don't want to lose Araujo, because he's one of the Rolls Royce they have into their central defense. He's really fast, press resistant, he scores goals, and he adds a lot to the attack of Barcelona, and he can really play in every position in that backline. He can play as a left back, he can play as a central defender, he can play as a right back. So that is the power and the potency of Araujo in the team of Barcelona. And I think the decision I was going to take is really important, because if he's back in 3 weeks, that means he has some good games of Barcelona he's going to miss out. And those games include the following. Today, tomorrow Barcelona is playing Girona. That is it. Then there is a Champions League game, Antwerp versus Barcelona. There is a game against Valencia. So 3 weeks from now, 9. So he might return around the 1st, the 1st of January. So he might play against Las Palmas, right? Las Palmas. I think we'll play against that team. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokani David is my name. Tell me your thoughts about the apology that Pep Guardiola is going to hate to issue to Kalvin Phillips. Do you think it's really genuine? What do you make about Heung-min and the very bad form at Tottenham Hotspur, and Araujo having a jaw injury, and he's going to hate to obviously say, I'm not getting a surgery, all I need is to keep playing game of football and do the needful for the side of Barcelona. Is he going to take a good decision? Yes or no? May the living to God bless you abundantly, the Muslims. Barakallahu fikum. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having a fantastic stay wherever you are. We sign out for now. See you later. And the game of football is on today. Liverpool starting off with Crystal Palace early kick starter.